Hello and welcome back to Kali Linux Wireless Pen Testing. Section 4 focuses on denial of service attacks. In this section, we will be learning more about what is denial of service, also distributed denial of service, and we'll also learn about volume-based denial of service. What does a volume-based mean? How do we do specific to bits per second, such as UDP flood, ICMP flood, and also spoofing the packets and then flooding the network, which will be as part of the volume-based denial of service. We will also be focusing on how to perform protocol-based denial of service in order to ensure that the receiving or the targeted server go down so that it becomes not available to a legitimate users. In that scenario, we would be performing some kind of TCP SYN flood attacks, fragmentation packets, and we will also try some of the old attacks such as Smurf. ALA based is application layer attacks, which is specifically focused on the web applications. Alright. What is this denial of service? Let us try and understand what does it mean. The denial of service attack is an attack that is meant to shut down a machine or make it unavailable to the users or make it completely not accessible. Let's take an example. Assume you are the only student in the classroom and you have 50 to 60 teachers teaching 60 different subjects to you. How do you feel? You're gonna either walk out mental or you should be like a supernatural person. So basically, denial of service is kind of an attack to shut down a machine or a network or make it inaccessible to its intended users or make it completely unavailable for the legitimate users. It tries to accomplish either by flooding the target with enormous number of traffic, or it can trigger a crash so that it becomes temporarily unavailable to the people. Take an example of a trading company or, a securities commission of any particular company. And assume you are offline for about 5 minutes. You know how much trade value that you are going to lose in the market. I like this pictorial representation of denial of service. If you look at the first one, it's the UDP package which just start dumping because it's one-way connection where the victim will be completely DoSed. Let's say mostly targeted servers either have this port open. In kind of a reflective based denial of service, you can look at the UDP port 53. In this case, port 53 normally runs domain service, where you can just keep on flooding that particular server which serves the domain as a service and make it completely not responsive, and then you will be able to do a DNS spoofing attack so that the legitimate network is not available. Now your spoofed network can reply to all the DNS queries coming through a particular network. And the picture on the right, if you look at the victim website, right, this is more like a zombie PCs that are typically tuned to send the traffic directly to a victim website. Let's say if an attacker is controlling all this zombie or already have these PCs compromised, and assume every zombie PC have a bandwidth of 20 Mbps, or let's say the 3 Mbps, then he will be able to divert around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in total 7 different PC with 3 MB can be directed to the victim website directly by performing or making sure the website is completely not available. I can give the same example of your banking website is not available for you. Typically the targets are banking, commerce, or the media companies or government if there is a organized crime or a transnational criminalization or hacktivism to show a hatred towards a cause. Recently, one of the incidents that I noticed is one of the country have misrepresented a national flag, and that turns out to be a cyber war where you could literally see majority of their government websites going down through denial of service. Though it is typically not the result in theft or a loss, but there is a significant information or the other assets that the victim a great deal of time and money to handle to recover it back. There's also an image of an attacker and a victim specific to ICMP echo request. This is more like a ping, and then just because the ICMP timestamp type 13 is open, you would be able to spoof the packet unless it stops responding to you. And you can also see a TCP and UDP connection oriented and connectionless, where you will be able to corrupt the data by sending half-baked information to it. The half-baked information can be, sending only one-sided SYN packets, which will wait for the handshake to complete, but the handshake never gets completed, and it continues until all the open ports are saturated with requests and none are available for a legitimate user to connect. And another type of DoS simply exploit the vulnerabilities that cause the system or the service to crash. In these attacks, input is sent that takes advantage of the box in the target that subsequently crash or severely destabilize the system so that it can never be accessed or used. You can also look at the difference between these two. Well, it's the volume and the packets per second, how it works. That can be the overview of how a denial of services work. And the same concept if it is distributed across different means where it can form a bunch of bandwidth and then divert all the traffic to a particular target through distributed network becomes a distributed denial of service. When multiple systems orchestrate synchronized DoS to a single target, the difference is instead of being attacked from one particular location, the target will be attacked from many different locations at one shot. Say you have 5 people coming towards you and then starting to pour punches on you. Would you be able to get up? That's the question. Well, it can leverage a greater volume of the machine to execute a serious disruptive attack. Maybe we have seen the Mirai bot attack in recent past, that around 1.3 TB of traffic being passed on to a particular network. And also we had a recent incident on GitHub where 1 or plus terabytes of traffic being passed on to it, and it was still able to stand and not gone down. Well, we will be exploring in the coming videos how you can perform using very basic tools such as hping and slow lories, pylorys, and very small tools that are pre-installed in Kali Linux, and also some of the tools which you can download from internet and just start DOSing the websites.